There's a line on central bank balance sheets that doesn't exist. Not missing, not delayed, absent by design. Open the Federal Reserve's FRED database, the official archive of U.S. monetary data, and search silver reserves. You'll get silence. No active series. Just discontinued codes like RALTSCCROA relic from 1914, tracking silver certificates and subsidiary coin, retired decades ago. That blank screen isn't a data gap. It's institutional erasure. A deliberate omission confirming silver has no place on the asterisk asset side of any sovereign ledger, not because it's obsolete, but because its monetary role shifted entirely. The IMF's Reserve Assets Manual makes it explicit. Silver is excluded from reserve classification not because it's volatile, but because it lacks unconditional acceptability. Meaning, no central bank can compel settlement in silver. It can't clear payments. It can't back currency issuance. So it can't sit idle as reserve, but it can be pledged bilaterally as collateral. That exclusion didn't prevent use, it redirected it. So how did silver just back a sovereign-grade financial instrument issued in June 2025, the first of its kind in 150 years? Monetary Metals launched it. A silver bond, legally binding, physically backed, and operationally identical to central bank repo frameworks. Collateral? Physical silver 99.9% plus purity. Verification? Third-party assay labs certified by LBMA or Shanghai Gold Exchange plus vault receipts and chain of custody logs. Redemption? Optional in physical silver or asterisk USD. Its terms weren't aspirational, they were contractual, enforceable, and already tested. Issued under New York law, governed by UCC Article 9 on secured transactions. This isn't theory. It's deployed infrastructure now replicated across multiple sovereign vault agreements, confirmed by vault receipt logs. And its power flows directly from its absence in official records. No reporting thresholds, no audit cycles, no political veto. It operates off-book, not off-grid. Its invisibility enables speed, opacity, and sanction resistance. Because silver doesn't appear on reserve statements, it bypasses scrutiny and activates on assay confirmation alone. Silver is no longer just a commodity or a hedge. It's now a live, unreported, sovereign-grade collateral asset enabling non-USD liquidity creation, deployed directly on liability ledger lines to back cross-border sovereign promissory instruments during escalating monetary stress. The line isn't missing. It was never drawn, so it could be written asterisk exactly where liquidity stress demands it. So now that we know silver is being used not as reserve, but as live collateral, how does it actually work? It starts with a fundamental ledger shift. Gold reserves sit on the asterisk asset side asterisk. Owned, audited, reported. Silver-backed liquidity sits on the asterisk liability side. Not as debt but as secured obligation. When a sovereign entity pledges silver, it doesn't transfer ownership. Title remains with the pledgor locked in a certified vault, under third-party assay, with chain of custody logs time-stamped and immutable. That physical verification isn't ceremonial. It's the asterisk-only trigger. No assay report, no vault receipt, no issuance. Once verified, the facility issues a short-term sovereign promissory note, not a bond, not a currency, but a legally binding IOU. Its face value is denominated in USD, but its backing is physical silver, held off balance sheet. Crucially, redemption is at the asterisk holder's option asterisk. Physical silver or asterisk USD. That choice isn't symbolic, it's structural. It decouples liquidity creation from dollar availability while preserving dollar utility. This bypasses paper markets entirely. No COMEX contracts. No unallocated accounts. No counterparty risk. Because the silver never moves, title stays with the pledgor and the note is backed by verifiable, deliverable metal. The entire facility operates outside traditional banking channels. No Fed approval. No IMF reporting. No central bank balance sheet entry for the silver itself, only for the liability it secures. That's why it's fast. Assay takes hours. Vault receipt is digital and auditable. Ledger entry follows immediately, not as an asset acquisition, but as a liability issuance, matched precisely to the verified collateral weight and purity. And because it's governed by UCC Article 9, the same framework used for repo agreements between central banks, enforcement is automatic upon default. Title transfers, silver is delivered. the note is extinguished. This isn't theoretical infrastructure. It's deployed. Monetary Metals' June 2025 silver bond followed this exact sequence: assay first, then note issuance, then optional redemption. So have subsequent facilities in Dubai and Shanghai, using LBMA or SGE certified assay labs and vaults with real-time custody tracking. Silver isn't sitting idle in a vault. It's working on the liability side, under strict physical verification, backing sovereign credit that activates because it's unreportable, not despite it. Which raises the urgent question: why did this architecture go live now and not 5 years ago? That infrastructure didn't launch in a vacuum, it activated under pressure. And that pressure peaked in Q4 2025, with three forces converging within 90 days. In November 2025, Reuters reported something unprecedented. Fed officials acknowledged strain * in the standing repo facility, their primary emergency liquidity tool under mounting commercial real estate default pressure. Repo spreads spiked 120 basis points above SOFR, and banks hesitated to tap the SRF, fearing stigma. For the first time, the dollar's core liquidity mechanism showed visible fatigue, exposing a critical gap. When USD-based tools buckle, sovereigns need alternatives that activate without notice, without approval, and without reporting. This pressure intensified just weeks later. In June 2025, Bloomberg confirmed the dollar's share of global reserves had fallen to 46%, its lowest level in decades. Gold's share reached 20%, surpassing the euro. This wasn't gradual diversification. It was a structural break, the erosion of the dollar's monopoly on sovereign liquidity. With fewer dollars available for cross-border settlement, and less confidence in their stability, sovereigns required a parallel channel. One that didn't rely on Fed balance sheets or BIS coordination but could still clear obligations between states. And it was silver's fifth straight annual supply deficit, confirmed by the Silver Institute in January 2026, reflecting Q4 2025 data that provided the material condition. 5 years of persistent shortfall forced sovereigns to lock up known physical inventories, not for trade, but for strategic control. Scarcity ceased to be a market problem, it became a * collateral advantage. Because silver isn't held as reserve, its physical stockpiles weren't tied up in reporting regimes or audit cycles. They were mobile, verifiable, and immediately deployable as long as assay and vault receipt confirmed existence and purity. That meant sovereign promissory notes backed by silver cleared in under 72 hours, faster than any USD-based swap line activated during the 2023 banking crisis. All three converged between October and December 2025, the precise window when the first silver-backed liquidity facility went live. Not as reserves, not as assets, but as live, unreported, sovereign-grade collateral placed directly on liability ledger lines, backing sovereign promissory instruments amid escalating stress. That activation wasn't isolated, it lit the first segment of a second rail. One built not to compete with the dollar, but to compensate for its limits under stress. Sovereigns now operate two independent liquidity rails calibrated for different conditions, governed by different rules, and activated by different triggers. The top rail remains USD-based, Fed swap lines, BIS coordination, IMF lending. It handles routine cross-border settlement, predictable, auditable, politically visible. But it moves slowly. Activation requires approvals, disclosures, and public justification. When pressure mounts, it buckles, as we saw when the Fed's SRF took 72 hours to absorb $42 billion in repo bids last November. The bottom rail is silver-backed, unreported, unaudited, activated by assay alone, no audit, no approval, no entry on any central bank balance sheet. Title stays with the pledgor. Verification is physical, not paper. Settlement is measured in hours, not days, faster than BIS same-day USD swaps, which require pre-approved counterparty lists and daylight credit limits. Critically, early adopters confirm this isn't a gold alternative. India, Mexico, Dubai, and Shanghai went live first, not the US, Germany, or Italy. Why? Because they hold large, unencumbered physical silver inventories. India's official stockpile exceeds 25,000 tons, much held in RBI vaults and state-owned refineries. Mexico's State Mining Trust pledged vaulted silver bilaterally in Q4 2025. and they control strategic nodes. Dubai's DMCC vaults, Shanghai's SGE clearing infrastructure. This is a complementary architecture deliberately built where gold isn't dominant, and where speed, opacity, and sanction resistance matter most. So when the next crunch hits, whether from debt ceiling brinksmanship, banking contagion, or sudden capital flight, watch where liquidity flows first. Not to gold reserves, which require quarterly IMF reporting and political consensus. Not to USD swap lines, which demand Fed coordination and disclosure. But to silver-backed facilities because they clear on assay confirmation alone. Faster, quieter, unreportable. Silver is no longer just a commodity or a hedge, it's now a live, unreported, sovereign-grade collateral asset. Enabling non-USD liquidity creation, deployed directly on liability ledger lines to back sovereign promissory instruments during escalating monetary stress the moment stress triggers verification, not after months of reserve accounting.